Hey guys, what's going on? This is Chillin at the Crib with DJFNA. This is episode 2. Shout out to Jackal for episode 1. That was a lot of fun. Shout out to Jackal. And episode 2, I have a new guest here.
Hello.
Miss Taeilor Brea.
Brea. Yes.
That sounds exotic.
I'm fancy.
Brea.
I know, right?
I know. When I saw your name on Instagram, I was like, is it Taeilor? Is it Taeilor?
I get that a lot. No, it's just, that's the way my mom decided to spell it, and I never changed it.
It's a culture thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unique, though.
I like it.
Now, when people call you, like, telemarketers, what's the weirdest you've heard?
I think Taeilor. Like, some people really try to sound out every single letter, and I'm like, no, it's not that complex.
You know why? It's because people don't like it when they say a name wrong, and it's like, it's not Taeilor. It's Taeilor. And like,
I've had people, like, they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah.
It's a unique name.
I'm sure. Thank you.
Now, you can do the same thing if you have kids? Are you going to...
Absolutely not. No.
Just simple.
I'm not doing that to them. Simple spelling, simple. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Even Brie, like, technically it's Brie, but since there's an accent, it's Brea. Like, it's just too much.
Right, yeah.
It's
Nice.
too much.
Now, how long have you lived in Vegas?
This time around, about 1.5 years. I lived here before from, like, 22 to 26. And that's when the industry really hit me because I didn't really have the guides and I kind of just came in on my own and figured it out. And then I moved back here last June. So now I have a little bit better understanding. I have those relationships. I matured a lot.
Yes.
So now it's a lot better for me.
Which we'll talk a lot because a lot of people, when they come to Vegas, it's like, how do you make it out here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, where are you originally from?
I was born and raised in San Diego.
San Diego, Cali girl, Southern Cali girl.
Yes.
You have to say Southern because
I'm not a Bay Area girl.
Yeah.
I'm like 15 minutes from the border. Let's go party in TJ for the weekend, girl.
Yeah, girls.
So Southern Cali girl.
Girls take it offensive when you call them. Are you from California? I'm from Southern California, not Northern California.
And Bay
There's
Area
a big difference.
Girls the same way. They're like, no, I'm from Northern. I'm like, oh Jesus, okay.
Now, what's your ethnicity?
I am Mexican, Bayesian from Barbados, and Indian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I get that a lot.
So we're kind of close, except for the Barbados. I'm Mexican and Indian.
Are you?
Indian like India or Native American?
Native American.
Native American, that's me too. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's why I look Asian. A lot of people, when I moved here to Vegas 8 years ago, it's the first time. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and everybody's Mexican there.
Yeah.
But here, they thought I was Filipino. I've never gotten that. They thought that I was Filipino. And I tell people it's probably because of the Native American, because the Native Americans look a little Asian.
I mean, my sister-in-law is Filipino and Hawaiian, and sometimes people ask if she's Mexican because she's got like the long, dark black. I'm like, no.
And pretty soon, it's just going to be all one big melting pot.
Yeah, it really is.
Like my daughter, she's Mexican, Native American, Italian, Brazilian.
Oh, yeah.
And she looks like a white girl.
I see that. Yeah, my best friend's Latina. She's Mexican and she's got the green eyes, blonde hair. So, yeah.
Now, what do you do for a living, Taeilor? What's your hustle?
I mean, I hustle a lot, but I am the face of a skincare line called Beauty Kitchen. I bartend on the Strip. And I'm working on branding my own line of foundation. So I do a lot of little things like I atmosphere. I'll do videos. I'll do commercials, but those are my focus.
I mean, you have to have more than one hustle nowadays.
Yeah, you really do. And I've just narrowed it down to the skincare line and focusing on my foundation. And then I just don't give up bartending. I've been doing that for like 10 years. So
now, what's your like ultimate goal? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I used to do makeup like full-time, prosthetics, drag, events, everything. I want to get to the point where I can travel and just teach makeup classes, like to where my classes are sold out and people want to come and learn from me, which is why I've never stopped doing makeup. I traveled here 27 times one year for makeup, and I was like, no, I'm moving back. And that's when I moved back last June because I was here so often.
So because you do makeup, there's a lot of those like makeup tutorials online. Everybody has a makeup tutorial. What's like your pet peeve when you see those? Is it something that everybody does wrong or?
The thing that drives me insane about that is I have an aesthetics license, so I know skin. So when these makeup artists that have no idea about the foundation they're working on start giving skin advice, like, oh, make sure you put this moisturizer on first or this. Like, I get it. You moisturize, but you don't know. So anytime it starts off like that, I'm automatically like, nope, the next one.
Yeah, like some girl would come on and be like, make sure you put this Suave lotion on before you put your makeup. You're like, Suave makeup.
Like, I mean, if Suave works for you, but the thing is that there's so many skin types that the same thing does not work for everyone. Like, people ask me that. Even my sister, and we share DNA, do not have the same skin type, so she can't do what I do.
Now, out here in Vegas, is it because we're so dry? Does that
Yeah.
play a big factor?
It really does. When I moved back here the first time, even moisturizing my body, I had to like mix certain creams with other lotions or use body butters instead of regular lotion because it just did not work. I have a skin regimen that I'll do like daily, like morning and night. I have some that I do weekly, some that I'll do twice a week. But anytime I skip it, my skin just goes into shock, like I neglected it or something.
Yeah.
So it's a consistent thing that I do every single time.
What about when you go to somewhere humid? Does it like change up? Like, whoa, is there a big difference?
Yeah, anytime I travel, even when I go back home, since I moved here, my skin just acts up. Like, I don't know why it is what it is, but so half my suitcase is literally skincare products because I can't go anywhere for 2 or 3 days and then come back because then it's a whole nother situation.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said you came back to Vegas, right? And coming back, you said you had more of like a game plan. You knew what was up.
Yeah, so when I came here the first time, I was 22. I actually came out for a weekend with my girls. I found out how cheap it was to live, and I went home. That was like the end of April. Packed up my whole little apartment, put my motorcycle in the back of my truck, and I was like, "Bye, Mom, I'm moving to Vegas." She was like, "What?" And I lived in Circus for 5 weeks.
Same thing. The first time I
5
came here,
weeks, yeah.
me and my ex-girlfriend, we stayed in Circus because it was like back then when it was like $23
Dude,
a
yeah,
day.
like even with the hotel tax, I'd be like, bet $42 a night, like I can do
Yes.
this. So my little savings that I had saved up. I had no job. I didn't know anyone. So I was just everywhere, every day. So I started promoting. I started promoting at Luxor Pool where you like hand out wristbands so people can get in the club for free and all that.
Yeah.
And I hated it, but everybody's trying to get in for free. So it was like, okay, cool. You get $10 a head here. Let me go hustle for 8 hours and hand out these wristbands.
And for a girl, I think, because I see a lot of dudes doing that. And it's always different.
It's a lot easier
always
for
different,
girls.
yeah. Because when a dude comes up, you're like, "Want to go to a party?" People are like, "I don't know
Yeah.
you." But if a girl's like, "Want to go to a party?" Yeah, I want to go to a party. I wasn't gonna go to a party, but shit, let's go to a party.
And then if you tell them it's free on top of it, they're like, okay, cool, let's check it out. If we don't like it, we leave because they don't lose anything, you know?
So that was your first job.
Like, yeah, when
So
I moved here.
was there anything that like? I mean, because there's creepers everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure in
There are.
everything that you do, there's sort of some sort of creeper. But like, was there something weird that happened when you were handing out? Did something happen ever, or was one thing that you didn't like about it? Or,
I just didn't like one, it was at a pool, so I would wear like a swimsuit to work, and I just don't like how like touchy-feely and comfortable people get with you the second you start talking to them.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, as soon as I, save up what I need to save up, like I'm done with this. And then after a while, I switched over to being a VIP host because I didn't have to be as aggressive and I didn't have to be in a bikini and things like that.
so to pass out the wristbands, I never seen that. You had to be in a bikini.
I was at a pool, so yeah.
Was it out? But it was outside, right?
I was at Luxor Pool when I started. So we were handing out wristbands for people to get into LAX at the time and for Cat House. Yeah.
Oh, but
So-
it was in the pool. Oh, so you were at the pool promoting, getting people
Yeah,
to
and
come.
it's like
Oh,
120
okay.
degrees. So I was literally in the water handing
man.
handing out wristbands.
Couldn't get in the water though, right?
Oh, no, I did.
Oh, you
I
did
mean,
get in
you
the
weren't
water?
supposed to technically, but dude, it's hot.
Yeah,
so.
super, yeah.
So I was always in the water just hanging out with people.
And then after you went there, what was your next thing?
After that, I started doing VIP host because I moved here in May. And then I found out that auditions, as they're called out here, were in January.
Casting calls, yeah.
Yeah. But you have to do them in a bikini because
Yes.
that's your attire for the most part. And I found out those were in January and I did those. And then I got my first job at rehab as a cocktail.
Nice. Now let's talk about those casting calls because I did one for
Those
Foxtail.
Oh my God, at SLS?
Yeah. So so like I remember one summer I was like, because I was touring with 3-6 and
Yeah.
then we had finished and I knew that I was gonna have like 3 months off. So I was like, I want to get a job, you know?
Yeah.
And one of my boys was hosting at Foxtail and he was like, hey man, like they're looking for people. Like I already put in a good word for you. So, and this is how Vegas works. It's all about who you know, right?
I learned that this time
Yeah.
around.
So I was like, all right. He was like, but you just have to go to the casting call just so it's go through
Yeah.
the process. So I get there and I didn't know this. He was like, yeah, bro, coming in like trunks. And I'm like, what, to an interview?
Yeah.
Like, what is this, right? And I had no idea. I show up and it's a long line of people, girls and
Yeah.
guys. Everybody's in bikinis, trunks, and it's crazy because they just you wait in a line and they just take a picture of you forward,
Seriously,
side,
the most
back.
awkward thing. It's the most awkward thing. And a lot of them, you have to have like photos with you.
Yeah.
But it is the most awkward thing. You wait in line for literally like 4 to 6 hours and then they talk to you for like 15 seconds. They have this bright ass light on you. There's like an X on the floor. You stand here, they like take your picture. It's just so awkward.
Now
So
let's
awkward, it's
be
crazy.
real. While you're in that line, you hear
Oh
people
my gosh.
talking. Like, do you look at other girls like, oh, she ain't got it, or yeah, I got it, or that girl maybe.
I've had that thought because I was like, cool, I'm coming in with, 5 years bartending experience, this and this and that. I got it. No, that's when I found out Vegas is really who you know. I mean, you do need to be in a certain shape because it is a little superficial. Obviously, people don't come to Vegas to see, undesirable things.
Yeah.
But
Look the part.
yeah, for the most part, like right now, I've got 10 plus years experience. But if I didn't know who I know, I would not even go to an audition in January because it's a waste of time. Like if I didn't know the people at Wet or the people at Daylight or the people here, there that like tell me, oh, okay, here's your fast pass, go ask for this person, I would not even go.
Yeah.
Like there's a 21-year-old that could come up, but her best friend's man is one of the GMs and she's got no experience at all, but she's also got the job. So it's just like
Now when that kind of girl gets the job, how does it working with her? I mean, is everybody like, oh, this bitch, like you got to deal with it?
a lot of girls do. I am very like the observant one. I'm very quiet because girls are very catty and I can't be involved. So I've always just been the one that everybody tells how they feel to. But you do get those girls and it makes it a lot more difficult for her because if she actually is trying to learn, everybody's knocking her. But usually those girls that come in feel entitled already and think they can come in late, get ready once they get there, just don't do their job in general because they know who they know and they're not going to get fired. And they're not union, so...
Is it really obvious when a girl gets in there from just who she knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times I tell new girls, I'm like, don't tell anybody who you know because even if you're amazing at your job and you're getting the best hours because you pull the most money, nobody's going to see that part. They're going to see the fact that you know this person.
So if a homegirl from San Diego was like, hey girl, I really want to work at a pool club, like what's the best advice if she didn't know anybody?
Tell her to be in the best shape of her life. Make sure that she had all of her work cards. Make sure that she has no reason for them to tell her no. Because on occasion, they do take girls that nobody knows with no experience, but it's like, you've got the part. We have 2 months to train you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they will take you. But you definitely need to look the part. You definitely need to already live here. A lot of girls come and say, oh, I'll move. They're going to throw your application in the trash because there's 500 girls outside,
Yeah.
When I applied before, I didn't live here. I lived still in San Diego and here part-time. When I was 21 before I moved here, and I told them that I lived here, and that's when I got all the callbacks.
That's good advice right there because if you're a bad bitch and like, why didn't I get it? Well, maybe because of that. And that's yeah.
So I lied because I
Lie
was like,
a little bit.
I was like, no, I live
finesse.
here.
We say finesse.
Finesse. I finessed my way into the pools.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to make that full-time move until I was like, okay, is this job lucrative enough for me? So when I started getting, I was like 2-3 days a week. I was like, okay, and they were bunched together. So I would drive up for work, drive back home, to San Diego. And then I started getting like 5-6, and I was like, okay, now I have to move.
Yeah. Now being at rehab, is it like? I mean, it's fun because do you get jaded, real quick? Or do you every day you came in, I was like, man, I like this job. There's music. I get to meet people from around the world.
I'm a very positive person. I feel like every day you wake up, you make the decision to either be unhappy or happy, regardless of what happened the night before.
Yeah.
So I loved it because I love to meet new people and new cultures. And I feel like since Vegas is a melting pot, like there's literally a new set of people every 3-4 days.
Yeah.
But I loved it so much. The only thing I did not like about rehab's audition is that you weigh in during the audition process. Like you literally step on a scale. You're not in a room by yourself. It's the most uncomfortable thing because
Do they call it out?
Yeah.
Wow.
They group you in like 20, 30 people at a time. And literally you just stand on the scale while they're all behind you. And like the next person's literally right here. The lady's right here with her clipboard and she's like, oh, okay, 137. Like it's seriously the most uncomfortable thing.
I didn't know that. I knew they took pictures, but the weigh-ins.
No, dude. And then if you do get hired, they don't have like a particular weight, but whatever your starting weight is, like stay around that. Because if you put on a couple pounds, it's like, say you're scheduled that weekend, you weigh in Wednesday. If you put on a couple of pounds, then you'll be off the following week so that you can have time to get those couple pounds off.
Wow.
So a lot of my coworkers,
Do they do that to the guys?
Yeah.
Also the guys too. Okay. Well, that's fair.
I've realized a lot of my coworkers either don't eat, they're either all, have enhancements to help them stay small.
Or just do coke.
Yeah, or they're coke whores.
Yeah.
But it's so stressful. But it's like, okay, you're making thousands of dollars a week, and there's always another girl that almost made the cut but didn't because they didn't need any more employees. So you have that stress consistently. Like, I need my job. I need to stay in shape. I needed this. But you work so long and so many hours that you don't have time to eat right, to go to the gym, to all that. So it's super stressful. This industry is not for everybody.
And you have to call it for what it is. I mean, this is Las Vegas. People come here for that. They want to see. And I mean, when you go to Red Lobster,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter what the waitresses look like or whatever. You know what I mean?
As long as the service is good.
But when people come to Vegas, it's like, man, I went to Rehab, I went to Excess, I went to Wet.
Yeah.
And that's what they make. That's why the guys spend the money. People spend the money. It's like elite.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you've got atmosphere modeling, which is a whole nother.
So, I was, when I first moved here to Vegas, the first thing I ever did was a bar back on Fremont, right? For 3 months.
Really?
Right.
Where?
And because I just hit the ground running, I was like, I don't want to be in El Paso. I want to come here. I got a job there. And then right after 3 months, I was still looking for other stuff. And I got with Vegas VIP, which is an independent hosting company.
Yeah.
So working with Vegas VIP, I didn't know anything. And they hired me because they said, you know what? We need somebody fresh that doesn't have any bad habits. Okay. And I lucked out, man, because I didn't know anybody. Yeah. I just kind of like wrote them up. I hit them up on Facebook, and they were like, you know what? You seem like a cool dude. Come in. Now, when I came in, they were like, all right, here's your cards. Go to every single club, learn the clubs, because you're going to be hosting out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know atmosphere models were. I didn't know anything like that. And then I remember we got this one party where my boss was like, okay, we got this one group, and they're going to go to the strip club. They're going to have dinner. And then they're going to go to the club, and you're going to meet up with the atmosphere models. Mm-hmm. And I was like, atmosphere models? Like, I didn't know what that was. And I was like, bro. And it's like, because like, I always had to ask questions, and it was cool because they were very helpful. Yeah. And then, but when they came through, I was just observing the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, when you hear the word atmosphere model, like, people have a lot of different speculations of what it is.
Yeah.
And being real, like, a lot of people think it's basically just a cover up.
People
just
think you're
prostitute.
an escort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an escort.
Yeah.
Now, just like every industry, like me being in Vegas for 8 years, I've learned that, a girl can have sex for money, whether she's a waitress, a bartender,
this is true.
a stripper, or it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Like,
it's in every industry.
Yeah.
But atmosphere models get that. Now, it's funny because I would see the girls come in and they would hang out, and right away the guys thought it was that. And right away they were propositioning. So out of all the jobs that you've had, how many of them percentage-wise have you been propositioned?
About 85% of them.
Almost all of them, right? And that's what guys are like, Now, what is your speech to tell them, like, no, I don't do that?
They don't always directly come out and say it. Like, if you're sitting at a table, they'll like put their hand on your thigh or try to rub you and see how you react to that. Mm-hmm. If you allow it to happen, then slowly they'll increase what they do. They'll try to like touch your hair later or pour a shot in your mouth or things like that to see like how comfortable you let them be with you. And then they'll go from there.
And it's crazy because, guys will sit there and be like, I paid $300 for you to be here. Like, you ain't gonna put out.
Yeah.
You're just like, what, bro? Like,
but
really?
The purpose of an atmosphere model, if you're in a nightclub, is to drink or fake drink to the point where the guys are having such a good time that you're just running through alcohol. So it's more bottles, and you're just running up their tab.
Yeah.
A lot of companies now have disclosures that you can't exchange information with the clientele. You cannot do anything after your hours that you're scheduled. And if you do and it's found out, you're done.
Yeah.
And being blackballed by one atmosphere agency, the rest will find out.
That's it.
So it's like you're a hazard to them. And there's literally thousands of girls waiting to, go make anywhere from $300 to $700 a night for hanging out for 4 hours, something that they would do with their girls anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then you get the VIP treatment. You get the security to take you to the bathroom. You get all that stuff. You don't wait in line. So it's fun. If you like to party, I would definitely say atmosphering pays you to party, but you need to be very cognizant of the guys that you're coming across because some are extremely aggressive. Mm-hmm. I've punched a guy before. So,
yeah.
Now,
does the agency back you up?
If you are legit, like if you went up to the room with a guy and you're not supposed to, and then you try to come down and you try to claim that he did something to you, there's really no way for them to protect you because you're not supposed to be up there to begin with.
Yeah.
So.
Now, for those that that want to know, like, what is it? Because people hear atmosphere modeling. What would a group of guys or people, why would they call atmosphere models? For a legitimate reason.
Okay, so atmosphere is pretty much when a nightclub pays an agency to fill the club with pretty girls, to fill the atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
so that it doesn't look boring. It makes people want to come in and it makes people want to hang out. If you are atmosphering and it's dinner and gambling, you are pretty much put there to make sure that the guys have a good time.
Yeah.
And if they're having a good time at dinner with drinks, when you go gamble, they give you money to gamble, you hang out. It is your job to make sure that they are in the best atmosphere and having the best time, regardless of what property you're at or what you're doing or things like that. But you're supposed to do it by the rules, because then if not, there's a very thin line,
Yeah.
I think, between atmosphering and what people escorting. So
Yeah.
you have to be like very particular with that.
Now, because I know the company that I worked at, they actually would hire an agency, because a lot of these dudes were like, we want to roll up to the club with girls, we want to look cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they, you know, and a lot of them are very shy. Like a lot of, like, even though there's a lot of creepers out there, there's a lot of other guys that are just super shy and they don't have game.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's just
I've
like-
gotten some really shy ones,
Yeah.
really shy ones.
And now, have there ever been any girls in your squad or coworkers that you saw them do stuff and it was like, oh man, like,
I've seen a lot of things.
yeah.
And I also no longer work with those girls, but it's also not my place to tell the agencies what these girls are doing because they've been doing it so long. I don't know if they have eyes or what, but they always find out. So
Yeah.
especially the new girls, I'll tell them, like, yes, he may offer you 10K for this night, but you're going to lose business for the rest of the year, and it's really not worth it. Because if you are a hustler, and I used to atmosphere like 3 to 5 nights out of the week, I'll make 10K in a week and a half
Yeah.
off atmosphering, you know? So it's really not, it's not worth it. And you will definitely ruin your reputation. And once you get that reputation, it never goes away.
Now, after the atmosphere modeling, now, would you do that before rehab?
No.
No, it was rehab
After.
and then after, and then you're doing the atmosphere modeling, which is a good transition because you're working at the club and now you're just chilling at the club. You're like, yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, and I would get all of these tables cocktailing, like I would hear them say, oh, well, there's no girls or bachelor parties and this and this and that. And then some of my coworkers were atmosphere models and I didn't know what it was. So I asked about it and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so then I started, yeah.
And that's a good way to network too,
Just
right?
never at my
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, right.
Never.
Now and then, now going into the skincare, how do you get in? Like, what is that? Like, what are you doing? Is it a company? Is
Okay,
it
so the company is called Beauty Kitchen. My friend Heather Mariana owns it. I actually just used to use her products and support it. She's got a store in Boulder City, and she did a pop-up shop here off of Eastern and Henderson. And I went to support it because I've been trying the products, and I absolutely love them because I've gone through a lot of products, and I haven't found a line until hers that is beneficial to all skin types. And that matters because a lot of them don't work for ethnic skin. So like Asians and African Americans, it just does not, it doesn't have the same effect on us that it does, but hers is. So I went to support this event and I was talking to this woman about the products and how much I loved them. And I didn't realize that I was speaking to the investor's wife because they had flown out from LA. So later that night, we were all at Heather's house supporting her event. And she got a text message from her investor offering me to be the face of their skincare line because he realized that I genuinely use it, loved my skin. That was on a Sunday. I got flown out on a Wednesday on my first private plane to shoot for the line.
Nice.
And that's how all that happened. So it was a whole 180 that I just did not expect.
And that's cool because you're actually working with the company, you're using the products. Now you see this on Instagram a lot. A lot of girls that'll get a product and be
Yeah.
like, I'm using this product, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they-
and have, you know, and you can tell, I mean, you know,
Never tried it.
have you ever been approached like on social media to do products like that?
I have had a few people ask me to be brand ambassadors. One, with products like that, they will offer you 70 or 80% off. I say absolutely not to all of those because you want me to still pay you a small portion for you to send me products, for me to do free advertising to you for my thousands of followers. Absolutely not. If a line really wants you, they will send you the products. And I tell everyone that I have to utilize them for like a month first before I will review them. I'm not just going to have it come in and be like, oh, you guys try this when I don't.
Yeah.
When I
Because you
don't
see that a
know.
lot. I mean, there's a lot of girls that
Yeah.
are just like using products, like one day they're using it.
Yeah, just like when what's her name? Kim K did that Carl's Jr. commercial. You know, damn well she does not eat that burger. So it's just like that did nothing. That would not make me go buy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I am very faithful with, okay, let me try this and then figure it out. And then I'll review it. I will not just have you send me like flat tummy tea and then me start posting about it when
Yeah.
it's not working.
Are these girls making money doing that?
Once you hit a certain amount of followers, you do start to make money
Yeah.
and you do get codes. Like even me, I the skincare line is lucrative for me, but if people buy the products and they've used my code, which is Clean Beauty, they get 15% off. And I get a kickback from that.
Nice.
But a lot of times, like once you hit 16K, that's when Fashion Nova will approach you if you are their type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a certain amount of followers, like 5K will get you this, 10K will get you this, 16K will get you this. So some may not be getting paid with money, but if you're getting $5,000 worth of beauty products a month, that's $5,000 less that comes out of your pocket. Or if you're getting your protein sent to you, because I used to be an NPC competitor and I got meal prep sponsorships and supplements and things like that. I didn't have to spend $500 a month on my meals because they were being sent to me, you know?
Yeah.
So it does in turn save you money.
And on your Instagram, how many followers do you have now?
13K.
13K, all organic.
Yeah.
Nice. How do you build up?
I actually just found out like a month ago that you could buy followers. I was like, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say that. Like, they're like, oh, you can, buy followers.
But I like looked it up and you really can. I was like, that's so crazy to me.
and was there a big jump? Like, were you just like, because everybody starts off with like their friends and family, and all of a sudden it just goes up and up and up.
Yeah. So I had a few. I had like 1,700. And then just because I used to work for Coyote Ugly and I would travel to different coyotes. So I developed people everywhere, like Key West.
So did you play the Tyra Banks?
I did. I had those moments. There weren't too many African American females at my properties. So every time they would come in, I was usually the only one on shift, and people would walk in and be like, oh, Tyra. And I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
So I did play that role, but it's fun. I think Coyote's the best job I've ever had. And I still talk to so many of those girls.
And that's how you're able to build up your followers.
Yeah. And then I did a photo shoot for the skincare line. I couldn't announce it. But then when it went viral and when I was able to put my picture out and the website and things like that, I like woke up with I think 4,300 new followers in like a 2-day period. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then I had some of my friends that are like ball players' wives or things like that shout me out on their social media because I grew up with them. And then, there was another 1,000 and this and that. And I was like, whoa. So I started getting more brands approaching me that way just because my followers went up when I've been doing the same thing for years.
Yeah. It's just being involved and stuff.
Yeah.
And networking.
A lot of networking. And I tried to stop kind of networking because it's exhausting. And in Vegas, it's always like a mixer where there's like champagne or rosé, or the club, which baffles me because you can't hear anyone in the club, but everything is at a club, or all these dinners and this. And I was like, this is exhausting. Like, I'm putting on weight. Like, this is not okay. Yeah. But yeah, your followers have a lot to do with it. It was a really big jump for me. I think my 1,700 followers I gained from when I used to do music videos. So it was just like artists here or girls here and things like that. And like girls that were on set with me would tag me, and then other people would follow me and things like that.
What do you think about this whole thing that they want to do away with likes?
That they want to do with what?
So I don't know if you heard about this, but in the news they were saying that Facebook and Instagram, they want to take away likes because they feel like it's the new generations, that's all they care about is likes, and they're focusing on that. And if you don't get likes, you get depressed, and it's a lot of I don't know if you've heard that, but they want to do this. I mean, how do you feel about taking away the likes?
I haven't heard them wanting to take it away, but I have heard my friends, you can tell when people view your story, but nobody will like it, nobody will comment on it. It's just like, why? So it either comes off as like a hater, or they just don't put the time into it. And I do think that likes dictate how people feel. I have a really thick skin with this industry, but a lot of girls don't. So they may feel like they're a 10 and want to post this picture that makes them feel amazing and get one like, and then they're like, oh, okay, and it makes them second guess it, and then they take it down. So
and that's why
I'm on board with removing the likes.
And that's why you see Instagram, girls taking off more and more and more. Now it's just pretty much just you're naked.
Yeah.
With a little dot.
But it's crazy because I have a lot of friends that have vagina patches on and duct tape over their titties, and it's all over Instagram. But then someone can post something else and Instagram will flag it, and I'm like, what? So I
think because people report it. That's the only reason why people get haters and everything. But I think with these likes, it's pushed. It's funny because I was just talking to one of my boys. I was like, actually, when he's a lot younger, and we were talking about Playboys, and he's never experienced that.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you don't need that anymore because you have Instagram. You have all this. It's just out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think now, and I don't know, it's weird because you see a lot of girls that are younger now. They think, okay, I need to get likes. If I don't get 100 likes on this photo, I'm probably ugly. you know?
Yeah, and then the more likes you get, they will put that photo on the homepage, which in turn gives you more followers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm all for taking away the likes.
So you're okay with
I don't even look at my likes.
Yeah.
I don't look at my view. I just, when someone comments, I'll comment back. Or I'll try to, because sometimes it gets really overwhelming. Like I woke up on my birthday last week and I had over like 400 and something Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I went to Facebook, Snapchat, and all that. And if people reach out and say happy birthday, I try to respond to everyone because you don't know me, so you don't have to send me those wishes. But it can be really, really overwhelming sometimes.
DJFNA. DJ fucking A.
All right, Bree. It's getting a little cold in here.
It's a little chilly.
Yeah. So it's getting cold in Vegas. This year was the quickest summer I've experienced being here in Vegas.
I honestly don't think it was even a Vegas summer. I was waiting for it to get up to like 120s and things like that, and it didn't. I was like, okay, I can handle it.
And then we had snow this past year.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a little
What is going on? Global warming?
Listen, whatever
Things
it
are
is,
changing?
it's disrespectful. So
Right?
that's all I know.
So let's do a hot question since it's cold.
Okay.
Boys. Dating in Las Vegas. You're a pretty girl. You've worked at the clubs. You meet all
gosh.
kinds of guys. People sliding into your DM.
Yeah.
How are you single right now?
I am single.
Okay,
Yes.
by choice.
By choice.
Yes. What was the longest relationship you've had here in Vegas?
I mean, when I moved back here last year, I moved here with the person I was with, and him and
Okay.
I broke up like a year ago.
Why did you guys break up?
He is Middle Eastern, so the family aspect to where they don't support us because of my ethnicity, and I was never allowed to participate in anything his family did. It just became too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with Vegas.
It had nothing to do with Vegas.
No. Now, when you guys broke up, was it like, okay, I'm gonna start dating?
I took some time to myself
Yeah.
for a little while. I just didn't want to put the energy into a relationship because relationships are time consuming. And I went on a whole selfish, like, I'm going to do me, whatever benefits me, I'm going to build myself type situation.
Yeah.
I just started dating again maybe like 3 months ago.
How's it going?
It's going. It's a little different. I have gotten some really crazy ones. I've gotten some ones that approach me with money, which I hate.
Yeah.
I think it may be the way I carry myself, but I'm also not going to change that. And then I've gotten some like really shit dates, like to where I've just left. I'm like, I'm not even going to waste anyone
Okay, let's
else's
get into a
time.
shitty date.
I'm not
What is
even gonna waste anyone
how
else's
does a
time.
shitty date go down with Taeilor?
Oh my gosh. So
Now, guys, pay attention because if you date or go on a date, if you're lucky enough to go on a date, this is what not to do.
honestly, this is
Okay.
what you men should definitely not do. I've had like a guy approach me and take me on a date and talk about his ex, the whole time. Mind you, that's something that you get into like once you start dating someone, like why'd you guys break up? But then after you have that conversation, it's done.
But the first date?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then like I've also had the bill come and him say, okay, so how do you want to do this? Mind you, when you asked me on a date, so I always take my credit card. I always,
Yeah.
I always drive myself because I never want to be stuck. And I don't know if I'm going to like you. So I just take
Yeah.
myself. I've had guys try to split the bill with me. I've had a guy ask me if I was going to pay for his dinner.
You had a guy ask you,
Yeah.
like, hey, can you get this?
Yes. And then it's crazy to me because you didn't ask me at the beginning. You asked me like, we've already done this, a whole bottle of wine, like the check is here. And now this is what it is. When you've been asking me for a month consistently on Instagram when you can take me to dinner.
Okay. I know this is very inappropriate to ask a woman. I'm not going to ask you your age, but you're in your 20s or late 20s?
I just turned 31 last Thursday.
Okay.
I'm
So-
not one of those girls, I'll tell you.
Okay, so you're 31 years old, and I'm 34.
Okay.
The way I grew up, it was, I'm from Texas,
Yeah.
kind of, in the South.
So you're a
And it's-
gentleman.
Yeah, it's like, you're supposed to do this. You open the door, you ask her, you pay for everything.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that we're changing as a society to be more equal, but at the same time, it's like, is it offensive if a guy's like, no, I'm going to pay, or no, I'm going to open your door,
No.
or maybe even say, well, can I pick you up?
I am all for the Southern hospitality, and I feel like you definitely need to court me in the beginning. And as we progress, it can become more 50-50. Like, I'm not going to expect you. I don't expect you to pay for anything regardless. But if you're trying to woo me, then you should come correct. So after time, it'll be like, oh, okay, I'm on my way over. Do you want something to eat? Things like that. You know, it will slowly start to work itself in.
Now that's not being a gold digger. It's just that if you ask me on a date,
No, I
if
just
you're
know my
inviting me-
worth.
Yeah.
So it's like I have men come for me and it's like, I can take care of myself. So what is it that you think you're going to do for me? I've had some really crazy ones. I've had a guy like slam his wine glass down on the table and just freak out and start screaming in the restaurant. And I was like,
Whoa, why?
because the server came over and he tried to like order for me. And just because I tell you I'm a pescatarian doesn't mean that you know what I want to eat. And so when he was like, she'll have this and this and that. And I was like, well, I appreciate that. But actually, and then I went to tell the server what I wanted and he just freaked out. Like, I guess he's just so used to controlling his situations
Yeah.
that he just, I don't know, that just wasn't his cup of tea. And so I let that slide. I was like, okay, maybe he had a bad day. But then
Yeah.
when dinner came, he had ordered something that I don't eat and tried to get me to taste it. And I was like, I appreciate it, but no, thank you. And then that's when the glass happened. I was like, okay, you know what?
He was just like, bitch, you're being difficult.
Pretty much, yeah. And so it was just like, he was like, you don't try anything. You're not exciting. First of all, you've known me for 5 minutes, so just
Yeah.
calm down, Turbo. And second, like, it's like against my dietary law. So what do you mean? Like, I just could
I think what
not.
happens with guys is that they have either a friend or a girl, or they hear something like, okay, girls like it if a guy takes charge. And then they think that, and they think, hey, I'm going to take charge. I'm going to show I'm a man. And then it backfires.
But you have to get to know me and what I like in
Exactly.
order for
Yeah.
that to be effective.
And that's what the first date should be, is just like, let's hang out,
Yeah.
ask some questions, play the question game, start off with what's your favorite color.
So when I,
You know what I mean? And then progress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
so after that date, I was just throw the whole man away. Like
Yeah.
I was just done with him in general. But the thing I will tell you guys, if you're trying to date, do not invite a girl to a club or out with your boys on the first date. One, you cannot hear anything in the club, so how are you supposed to get to know her? And two, you have a different side when you're with your boys, which is usually more obnoxious. So make sure that you get that one-on-one with her first, so that when she does go out with you and your boys, she's already like kind of developed like a tolerance for it, or expects it, or likes you a little bit, to where if you start acting up, it won't push her away.
Yeah. Is it as simple, like when somebody's asking you out on a date, is it simple as going up to you and saying, hey, I think you're really cute. Can I take you on a date?
I would give a guy that said that to me more of a chance than
Yeah.
a guy that comes up to me and tells me you're too pretty to work. Because you
Wow.
already make me sound like a business transaction, and I
Yeah.
don't like that. Or I've had some guys tell me, I want to get you something for your birthday, and I know it's not as fancy as what you're used to. You don't know what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Just because I can buy myself a Gucci purse or a YSL bag or this, like, you could plan a picnic with a damn box of wine and homemade sandwiches, and I would want that more than you trying to take me to a Joe Robichaud restaurant. Like, I'm the most simple girl. It's not even funny. And a lot of females are like that. It's the fact that you put time and you put thought into planning something for them that they appreciate more than an expensive ass dinner.
And this is good because guys, I think, need to understand that, because guys will say that, I'm pretty sure you've heard this, like, oh, you're intimidating. Like, I don't know how to approach you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether
Yeah.
to, hit you up on Instagram or show up at your house.
I've gotten
or
that.
show up at your job,
I've gotten that. Yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
don't tell people where I work.
Yeah.
I will say I bartend on the strip, but I've had a stalker that I obtained working for a company before, so I do not disclose where I work.
I think when if a guy likes a girl, the only thing you can do is just let her know, hey, I'm interested in going on a date with you and getting to know you. I think that's the only thing that you can say, and just pay attention, because if a girl
Yeah.
goes, if she does like it, she'd be like, yeah, let's hang out. But if she's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm okay,
Yeah.
then let it go, bro. Let it go. Like, there's some guys that are there's some guys that feel like, well, I got to be persistent.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about guys like that?
Persistence is okay to an extent. I have some guys that will have a whole conversation for like 6 months by themselves in my DM, and I'm just like, clearly you can see that I see it and I haven't responded.
Yeah.
And then I have some guys that will hit me up and then a month later be like, well, I see that you're not as busy, so I was wondering if I could take you to dinner, or I was wondering if we could go on a hike, or things like that, And those guys, I will click on their page, look at it,
Most of the time, be like,
and then
damn,
and then
yeah.
go from there.
Yeah.
And I do love to hike, but you're definitely not taking me on a hike on our first date, because you could be crazy. And what if you push me off the mountain or something? So.
I've heard that a lot here in Vegas.
not doing
I've seen on girls, like, I think like Tinder or Bumble profiles.
Yeah.
That'll say in there, no, I will not go on a hike with you. Like straight
Because
up, you know what I mean?
People are crazy.
Yeah. Now, do you do the whole Bumble Tinder thing and all
I
that?
do. I
Yeah.
have a Bumble. I have a Tinder, which I forgot I had until someone mentioned it the other day.
Yeah.
I have a profile on Millionaire Match. Like, first I started these because they were entertaining to me, and I was at the point where I did not want to date, so it was pure entertainment. And then I was like, okay, I do want to start dating, and so most of my dates have come off of Bumble. Yeah.
Now, that's just the way to date now. There's a lot of people that are older. Like I have a lot of, I have this one friend that has a coworker that's 40 or 50s. And
Yeah.
she's divorced now. She's dating now. And she's like, no, I can't get on that silly thing. But it's hard. People don't know how to like approach each other. Because now we live in a world where like
Yeah.
people get weirded out. I mean, I've tried this before. I've actually been at like a place. I don't know if it was a restaurant or something. And I just started to make conversation with a girl. And she just was just like not responsive. Like people don't like it. You don't know if people don't like to be talked to or approached.
Yeah.
So I think it's safer.
Well, and Bumble, since men are usually the aggressive ones, since
Yeah.
the girl has to initiate the conversation on Bumble, it makes it a lot easier for men to come for them.
Yeah.
And then you have, like you said, those shy men. So since the girl has to be the one to slide into your DM, it
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people just say, oh, well, that's all for just hooking up and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it's like, okay, well, where how else do you meet some people now? Like nowadays, how do you do that?
I'm in a phase where I'm like not looking for a relationship, but if it were to start happening, I wouldn't stop it. But I've seen a lot of things on Bumble that have stopped me from swiping because it says that they're looking for a relationship. So I'll be like,
Yeah.
and I won't even approach it. So they're pretty honest. Some people get on there and say, I'm in town for the weekend. I just want people to hang out with. Some people really are looking for friends.
Yeah.
So it just depends, I guess, what it is that you're looking for.
And people take it too serious sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Like, they get really upset when you match them and then they're like, what are you doing right now? Let's hang out. And you're like, no, bro.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, fuck you then.
I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, and I have to say, what's your name? Because everyone's got a stage name now. So, like, your name could be Brian on Bumble, but your name is, Juan. So, like, I have to ask you, like,
Really?
yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's more guys than girls. Like, they have fake names. I'm like, what? So people ask me all the time if Taylor's my name. I'm like,
I'm
yeah,
thinking maybe because maybe they're like cheating.
I mean, that's possible.
But no,
then if they
because
get caught,
you can see the face though. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, but if they get caught, they can always say that someone stole their pictures.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Slick.
I get that.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of crap from my friends' current situations, as I call them, that just feed them bullshit. And I'm like, bro, he's lying.
Yeah.
But yeah, people say that people steal their pictures all the time. So
Now, do you have a rule as far as when to be physical with a guy? Is there a time
No.
limit, or does it go by vibe?
it
'Cause
goes by vibe.
Yeah.
I'm not, we have to have 5 dates before we do this and do that. Like, I'm grown. If I'm attracted to somebody, it just is what it is. Like, if I was to go on a date with someone and sleep with them on the first night and then we stop talking, I'm not going to be bitter. I'm not going to start going off on social media about them. I'm not going to start posting conversations. Like, I'm an adult. It is what it is. But a lot of girls don't think that. A lot of girls, well, guys now too, get in their feelings. And you can see
I've
it all
heard
over
about that a
social
lot.
media.
How guys
and
get
men
hurt.
coming my way have been really emotional lately. I'm like, when did this start happening?
Yeah.
Like, I had someone the other day tell me, okay, good night. And I was like, good night. And they were like, wow, really? That's all you have to say? I'm like, what did you want me to say? You literally just said good night. I was like, so if you say good morning and I say good morning back, are you going to be upset? Like, I don't understand. So I just don't respond to emotional men because I just don't even know how to handle them.
Well, it's equal now. 2020 is coming up. We're all equal.
I
Guys are
don't
going to be
know.
emotionally equal now.
I think I've like shut down
Guys are
the
going to start getting their
emotional-
periods now. You're going to see, watch.
I think men have been PMSing for a cool little minute. Like,
It's getting
I don't,
crazy.
I don't get emotional like that. I think I turned that part off. And I have had some guys, like I had a hump buddy, as I call him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started trying to like, cook me breakfast and ask me on dates. And I was like, this is not a part of the arrangement. Like, it's sweet, but that's how you develop into
Yeah.
relationships. And that's not what I wanted at the time. But it was him who was more bothered. Like, we've been hanging out for this many months. I know that you said this in the beginning, but guys come to me like, I tell them one thing, and then they think after dating me for a while that they're going to change my mind. And when they don't, that's when they get bothered.
Yeah.
but I told you from the beginning. So like, that's where I don't have the sympathy. And that's where it comes off like, oh, she's a bitch or she's cold hearted or she's this. Like, no, bro, I told you what it was.
I'm glad you say that because I have a lot of female friends that I always tell them when they're going through stuff like this, I go, you know what? You have to kind of start thinking like a dude.
Yeah.
And I just say that because it's just like, you know, a lot of these guys, you don't know what their intentions are.
Yeah.
You're going to get your feelings hurt. You know, it's funny because my, I shouldn't bring this story up, but a person, I'll say this. A person that I know, an older lady,
Yeah.
was recently was divorced, and she was getting back into the dating world. And I told her, you need to have more than one boyfriend first.
Yeah.
And she was like, why? No, I come from a different time. We don't do that. I go, I guarantee you the guy that you start dating is going to break your heart.
Yeah.
Or fuck you over. Sure enough, man.
Yeah.
And I told her, I go, it's not about being a slut. It's not about doing that. It's just that, like, you don't know what people's intentions are. Like, make a guy, like, tell a guy, yeah, you know what? I have other dates. I have other guys. Guys like to chase.
Yeah.
You know, make a guy compete. Make a guy say, give you a reason to say, all right, I won't see these other guys.
Yeah, like I was talking to someone and him and I never had the conversation of we're only talking to each other. So then when I found out about the other girls, my best friend was like, bro, stop talking to him. I said, no, I'm not going to blow him up. I'm not going to ask him about the other girls. I'm not going to this. And in turn, every single other girl he was talking to fell off. But I was like lost interest by then because I'm not going to be the crazy one, like going through your phone, doing this. Why are you with her? This and this and that. No, okay. You want to talk to 4 or 5 girls? I'm going to give you a reason to only want to talk to me. Or when you have 2 hours in the middle of the day that you show up at my place instead of hers.
Yeah.
So when guys start bugging me, I either block them or just stop responding. I stop responding, and then when they become disrespectful, then I block them.
Yeah.
But when I got out of my relationship, I don't look for more than one guy to talk to at a time. But like, I have someone that I'll hang out with on occasion. If someone else comes along that intrigues me, I'm not going to stop that.
Yeah.
Because the next relationship I do have, I want to know that that's my person.
I think that was my point was to, like, keep your options open.
Yeah.
Like, don't just settle
Don't
on
put all
one
your eggs
person.
in one
Yeah.
basket.
Unless you,
because-
like I always say, like, until you marry that person, then
Yeah.
shut everybody off.
Yeah.
If that's what you're gonna do. You know
I
what
definitely think that people should date around now. As far as when I was dating 3, 4 people at a time, I was only sleeping with one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you choose to sleep with all of them, that's your decision. But I need to know that, like, you are for me. So I'm not gonna, like, if one guy approaches me, just be all about you for 6 months and then we fall apart. Like, I could have missed somebody over those 6 months. So I definitely think that people need to date around, especially if you've just gotten out of a long-term relationship.
And doesn't that help when somebody screws you over? You're like, okay, bro, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. Ladies, listen to this. This is a bad bitch from Las Vegas telling you, because there's a lot of girls here in Vegas. I see this on social media. You see it all the time. Girls like, oh my God, this guy, they just get so, like, tied into one person. And then it's just like, but it's every month they're doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
Every month it's a new guy. And I've even been like Snapchatting or this and had a guy like try to get in my Snap. And I'm like, who do you think you are? I'm not about to post you to the world. Like, you're not my person. But I definitely think that even if you're old school, you should definitely get with the new school and date more than one person. Even if it's just you guys going to dinner or you guys going to a movie or a lounge or an art gallery, whatever the case is. I don't think that you should put all of your time and energy into one person until you've had months and you've developed that relationship and that trust. And then you guys can have that exclusivity conversation. Then, okay, date him.
Yeah, this
You know
is
what I'm
called
saying?
courting plus.
Yeah, courting plus.
This is 2020. It's courting plus now. It's a new thing.
The guys that start acting up, if they would just act right, they don't realize that I would want to spend all my free time with them instead of with them and these other guys. I'm spending my time with multiple men because I'm trying to find the one to grab my attention.
Yeah.
Like, currently, that's not what I'm doing, but when I am in that phase, that's why.
And it's all timing, because a lot of people don't realize that people are in different times in their life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I've met girls that were, like, amazing, but they just weren't ready.
Yeah.
And I recognized that, and I was like, you know what? She's not ready. It sucks. I really want to be with her, but she needs that time.
Yeah.
And I broke away from that, and then 2 years later, she ends up getting married. I'm like, well, you know what? That's okay, because she just wasn't that right time. You know what I mean?
Feel like if someone comes at me and it's not our right time, if him and I are meant, then we will come back together eventually. I'm not going to force something that's not there. I'm not going to, like, I've had guys ask me in the last month or two to be in a relationship, but I'm at the selfish phase of my life where I'm focusing on me and my career and my fitness and things like that. and the time that you have to put into a relationship, I wouldn't want my significant other to feel neglected, which is what they will feel right now, which is why I won't have one. So that's why I'm single by choice. It's not that
okay to be single, girls. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know?
And I actually have a lot of fun. All girls have like their lonely nights, things like that. But even when you have a significant other, you still have those same emotions. So I definitely don't feel like you need to rush into having someone because you're afraid to be alone. A lot of girls are afraid to be alone. They're afraid to start over. No, babe, put that into all that time that you would put into, being upset with him and all of that energy and all of those tears into like writing or your music or the gym or something that will benefit you.
Yeah. And
when you focus on that, it's like you have no time.
How does it work with jealous guys? Like you doing music videos. Have you ever dated guys while being in music videos? How do they feel about that?
That's
and not only that, but like, being a bottle girl, being working at the club, being an atmosphere model. You've dated during these jobs, right?
Yeah.
How does that work?
That is very difficult. I try not to date people in the same industry that I'm in because I know that a lot of girls are, as everyone says now, thoughts. But it's
for
also
those of you who don't
hard.
know, what's a thought?
A thought technically is an
people.
acronym that stands for that hoe over there.
Yes.
So it's pretty much like a slut or a whore if you use those words.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have had guys that I literally fought with every time I would get dressed to go to work or to do a video, like every shift. So they would just ruin the time that I had there because literally as I'm walking
Did you let
out of
them
the door,
come with you?
Absolutely not.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely not. Never. Even when I worked for Coyote Ugly, it was a rule that your boyfriends aren't allowed to come in, just like the movie. Like they're not allowed to come in. I would never bring them into work because when you're in this industry, every time you clock in, you're putting on a show.
Yes.
So the last thing I need is for somebody to like try to rub my leg, and you have to trust that I know how to deal with those things. But if you see it and you're tipsy or you're in your feelings and you come over and decide to try to handle it yourself, like that's my job. So I've never allowed my significant others to come into where I work, even when I'm not working, because they'll still see what's going on and they get really bothered.
What about when they see the video and see you shaking that ass on this camera and they're like, what the hell?
I usually see it before it comes out so I can warn them. Like, okay, babe, on this part, this is what it is. Or like if I had to be in a damn like thong twerking upside down, I'll let them know like when I get home from the shoot, like, hey, this is what it was.
Yeah.
So when you see it, like don't be,
There was a bathtub
shocked.
scene. Don't worry, I have my bottoms on.
Yeah. No, I've had that. I've had a bathtub scene and I had a thong on, but it was like white and low-key transparent. So you had to like blur it. Oh, no, he was not happy. We did not talk for like a week. Like he was so upset. It's not even funny.
But even though he doesn't talk to you, does he get more passionate?
I'm a very sexual being regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that him seeing that would turn him on. Because I'm like a one-woman show in my own, so.
Because now me, I guess I've met like guys that are like me, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Because like now me, I've dated a lot of girls that were either models or dancers or strippers. Mm-hmm. And I've actually worked with a girl at the strip club. I was the DJ, she was a dancer. Okay. And people were like, how could you do that? How could you see your girl? But I knew that it was, we clock in, this is a show. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is just work.
I had one guy. I misspoke. I had one guy that I did allow to come to my job. Every night I would go, he would be there to make sure I was okay. He would never like approach the clientele. He would usually be the first person to tip me so that people would know, hey, it's okay to tip her. But he ended up being there so much that the club just offered him a job as a bouncer because he was literally there with me every single night.
That guy was a sex great?
Yes.
Because I know, yes, because that's a guy that was secure with himself.
Yeah.
And he knew you were, there and everybody was looking at you. And he was like, this hot girl that everybody wants in the club is going with me.
Yeah. But then I feel like that was my mistake on my part because when I lived here the first time, Vegas did break our relationship because he was unfaithful to me with girls that he had met in the club.
He was too secure.
Yeah.
Damn.
So he was, yeah.
So let me take that back. So he was like, I'm taking this girl home and taking that girl home.
Yeah, but he didn't tell me about it then. I just knew something was off, and him and I broke up, and then he actually got into a motorcycle accident a few months ago. Wow. And literally just told me, confessed everything that he did to me in the 5 years we were together.
Oh, you guys were together for 5 years. Uh-huh. And everything came out.
We lived in San Diego for 2, and then we moved here for 3, and then when him and I broke up, that's when I moved back home. Yeah.
Now, here in Vegas, there's a lot of temptation.
There's a lot of temptation, but
how do you deal with that, like when you're dating guys?
I moved back this time with a goal and with priorities, and I'm older, so the temptation doesn't bother me. I've dated ball players, I've dated rappers, I've had that lifestyle. Like if I wanted to be a rapper's wife or a baby mama or whatever, I would be. So the fact that I've had all that, it doesn't tempt me.
So saying that means what? Means that you have to be okay with other girls.
I'm fine
Is that
with
what that
other
means?
girls because I'm
Yeah.
to the point in my life where I don't stress about things I can't control. So if you're going to go out and do some shady shit, that's just what you're going to do. And if I'm meant to find out, I'll find out. I know what I bring to you in a relationship. So if you think that you could go find that somewhere else, then you could roll. That's how I feel.
Now, what if a guy says, "Hey, look, I'm just being real with you. I'm a, fuck this girl. Are you cool with that? But I'm just making sure it's okay with you." What if
if a guy is that forward,
you? Yeah.
I would appreciate the realness, but that probably wouldn't have been the first time that it came out. So him and I probably would be nothing more than fuck buddies because that would be his thing.
Okay.
So I wouldn't date somebody like that. Like when I'm single, yes, I'll explore. But if I'm dating you and you're my person, I'm not going to share you with anybody.
No sharing.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
And when you're dating out here in Las Vegas, what's the is there do all Vegas guys have one thing in common?
I try not to group people and say all, but most is the fact that they literally sleep with a different girl every weekend.
So that's just people are just less.
That's
out
why I
here, but
kind of
yeah.
try to stay away from guys that are in my industry, but it's hard to date someone that's not because they don't understand the hours or the fact that, you have to wear this costume for work or that you have to deal with this or that you have to deal with that. But you do come across a few men that are like me that work is work and it's not their lifestyle. So you do find that as well.
Have you ever been the other girl?
Yes.
Yes.
I have been the other girl.
And because you were single and you were like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, that's your man, that's your fault. Or is it
honestly,
or you just found out like, oh shit, girl, I didn't know.
I've had those moments where I was just like, yo, I don't care. Like in my 20s, like nobody could tell me shit. And, like you think nobody could tell me anything. So I just did not care.
Low key, does it give you like that? Oh yeah, I took your man.
Kind of. But I'm definitely not like that now. But I also don't lie about my past. So I have been that girl that it's like, okay, are you going to propose to her? Okay, clearly you're unhappy. So like, let me be the one to make you happy. I have had those moments.
Wow.
I've also dated
But that's
someone.
good. Doesn't that do something for your confidence though? I mean,
Yes, a little, but I don't need that. Like,
it was just for funsies.
Yeah. And I don't need that validation from anyone now.
Yeah.
Everything that I do for myself now. I don't do for a guy. I don't do for someone to say, damn, she looks good in that dress. I do it for me. And once girls learn that and become comfortable with themselves.
What do you
there's a
do
lot
when
of
the other
things
girl
you-
calls you up or has a girl ever like text you or hit you up like, hey girl, like,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've had her like schedule dinner with me and him be sitting there and me come up and then her come up behind us because like he was such a little bitch that he was like, no, you're going to come too, and sit down and just go off on me at the table. And I was like, oh my gosh.
that's the way to handle it between girls, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely think the guy should be there because a lot of times,
There's no reason for two girls to be fighting over a dude.
I'm not fighting
Yeah.
over a dude, but a lot of times, like if he's not there, you're getting pieces of the story. So it's like he's here, so we're about to ask you these questions so that everything is out in the open. There's nothing getting misconstrued. Like this is what it is.
Yeah.
But I've also dated a guy, an NFL player, for a whole year and a half that I actually got engaged to, and he owned the top floor of a certain hotel that we lived in. And somebody knocked on my door one day and there was this kid and I was like, baby, where's your mom? Like he was lost and he was able to show me. So I went to walk him home. And when I knocked on the door and the woman opened the door, there was like a picture on the back with her, the kid, and my man. And I was like,
wow.
and that's how that all came out. And then he came home and saw me and his wife and his son sitting on the couch. And I was like, so is there something you want to tell me? And it's crazy to me because
So you were the other girl and you just found out.
and I had gotten engaged to him the week before.
Wow.
And it was crazy to me because like you're an NFL player. I've been in magazines with you. I've been like to events with you. I've been around all your boys, all your this. And she knows. She's like, oh, babe, you're not the first one. But she also didn't know that him and I were serious enough to get engaged. So she was just comfortable with it.
So just like we were saying, I was saying like the basketball wife, the athlete
Yeah.
wife. It's like they know. They're like, okay, you're just his toy. But
A lot of them
I'm Queen
know.
Bee.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of them know, but they're getting a paycheck, so they deal with the lifestyle. That's
Wow.
why I stay away from ball players in general. Unless you're like in your 40s and you're retiring on your way out, don't come for me because I'm not about to deal with it.
crazy.
Do
We're
not.
gonna take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna wrap things up and tell everybody where they can find you and get your products at.
Awesome.
All right, so we'll be right
Thank
back.
you so
Yeah.
DJFNA. DJ fucking A.
All right, guys, we're back with the fabulous Taeilor, not Taeilor, but Taeilor.
Taeilor.
Getting into some juicy stuff, some real stuff, right?
I am honest, yes.
And after all this, man, I mean, I guess we can say that you are a strong, independent woman.
I am very strong. I've gone through some emotional times over the last 2 years, so I am very, very strong.
But you have to go through shit in order to get to that point.
Yes, this industry made me strong for one, but I also lost a sibling, and that made me a lot stronger.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My baby of my family, actually.
Same here.
Yeah. So that it wouldn't bother me with any sibling, but he was my baby, and he was 15, so that hit me in a way that I don't think anything could affect me more than that has.
It makes you appreciate life. Yeah,
Yes.
Same thing. I lost my sister. She was 23, and here in Las Vegas, and it just like it does definitely make you go out there and say, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about shit. Like, and you know what, now that you say that, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, for those people out there that maybe haven't gone through that tragedy, why wait for that?
Yes.
Like, you need to take these words and be like, look, like, really appreciate what you have. Like, there's worse things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At any moment, you can lose a parent. You can lose a spouse. You can lose somebody, like, you know.
I am sorry for your loss. I definitely am a firm believer on telling people how I feel. So if I miss one of my friends or family, I will text them and tell them. I try to say I love you every time I get off the phone because you never know when the last time that you're going to speak to someone is. I am definitely a believer in life is short and you really don't ever know what's going to happen. And that's another reason why I told you I don't stress about things I can't control. Now that I've accepted that within this last like year and a half, I'm so much happier and so much more stress-free. And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, kind of changing a little bit, what do you feel about the Vegas Knights and the Raiders coming?
I mean, I'm from San Diego, so I'm never going to lie and say that I'm not a Charger fan, even though, sometimes they're terrible. And I will never wear an LA Chargers jersey. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I will wear a Chargers jersey, but if it says LA on it, I refuse.
Are you a football fan?
I am.
Yes.
I'm not one of those, I'm a, die-hard football fan. And, I love going to NBA games. I love sports. I have 5 brothers, so it's I really had no choice growing up. But Vegas is where I live, and it is my second home. So I will be rocking a Raiders jersey, to the game. I will support it.
Yeah.
I have Golden Knights gear, things like that. I'm just kind of getting into hockey, but I am all for it.
But it's intense.
Yeah.
Even if you don't understand hockey,
it's intense.
it's like I went to a playoff game with my little baby, and we had a blast, man. Like, it's a club in there.
It is
a
intense.
nightclub in there.
I am, like I said, getting into hockey, but I have been in love with football. I used to be a cheerleader in college, so being out on the field, I felt like I was a part of the game. Like, sometimes you would catch me screaming over the fence, and my coach would be like, "Taeilor, you're the cheerleader, get back." So it's very fun for me. I used to be a semi-pro cheerleader. I've done, NFL cheerleading. I've done a lot of those things, so it makes me feel like I'm a part of it, and I think that gave me the love for it.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting for me.
And I think I think the fact that these clubs are coming, these sports teams, it's making Vegas an American town.
Yeah.
It's not just Sin City anymore. It's we got football now. Baseball may be coming. Oakland A's may be coming.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
a lot of people think of Vegas and they think of just the strip, not the outskirts of it. So I think all the teams coming lets people know that it's our home. It's a city. There's other things to do besides come, the however many miles the Las Vegas Strip is and do that.
And I think after a couple years ago when we had the mass shooting, that really, because you didn't really see, I remember seeing the news and you saw the community.
Yeah.
You saw people
The
showing
October
up to
1st?
Yeah. So that really showed that Vegas were people. You didn't just see a bunch of industry people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a lot of different people.
I was actually supposed to work that event to bartend it, and I had a family emergency, so I called off and found someone to cover the station I was supposed to be at. And then when I landed, I heard my phone was blowing up. I heard all of those things. One of my friend's boyfriend had gotten shot because all I remember was the voicemail where she was frantic and this, and I was like, what's going on? That was definitely that was definitely a lifesaver for me, I guess. But that hit me in a way that well, that could have been me, Yeah. So I'm very standoffish when it comes to working events like that. Yeah, like I worked Life is Beautiful this year and I was nervous the entire time because the bar that I was at, there were houses across from us and they were all just windows. So I'm like,
hello, can I get a shield? Can I get a boot?
Yeah, so like it does change
and
a
it's
little
crazy
bit.
how we have to think about that now.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I mean?
really is.
And you being in the industry, did you know a lot of people that were affected by that?
I did.
Yeah.
One of my really, really close friends, she was there and she gets affected by it. Around like a couple days before the first, you can kind of tell her personality changes a little bit. And then just on the first, but I'm glad that she survived it. I'm glad that she's okay. So to see people that I care about be sad about it because they lost someone or because they got shot and survived it or whatever the case is, it hits me in a place where, because you care about them. So
now this may not be politically correct, but I know since I've been here a lot, that's always been a case of like, is Vegas a target? Could it be hit by a terrorist attack by a foreign country?
Yeah.
But when it happened, and it was like an American white dude, it blew people's minds. Like the other night, I was just like going through like videos of it, and still like, why did this guy do it? Like, why? Why is still that why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've seen like, all the shootings, things like that, and a lot of them, and it's crazy to me because so many that I've come across are not terrorists. It's a Caucasian man and I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, I'm from El Paso, and it's
Yeah.
crazy because having the Vegas going through that and then seeing that in my hometown, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And it was, two white guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, right now, what's going on in America as far as politics? Are you into politics? Do you follow it? Is it something that you...
I catch them on occasion, and if it's important or if our president is doing something ridiculous, I will stay up to date with it, but politics are the conversation that I try to stay away from. I stay knowledgeable enough to know what's going on, but it's definitely a subtopic that I stay away from.
Now, do you...
That and religion, because...
Yeah. I mean, because those are two things that you just can't win in an argument.
Yeah.
If somebody is
if they're
a different religion or if they're a different political party, you're never going to change their mind.
Yeah,
right?
so I stay away from those.
Is that a big thing in the industry? Do you see it like polarizing like at work?
No.
Do you see people, or do people just don't talk about it? And I think that's a big thing now.
They
People
don't. It's actually like
Yeah.
in our contracts, when you don't discuss your pay, you don't discuss this, you don't discuss politics, it's in there.
Okay.
And even though people break it, but it's in there so that there's no animosity in the workplace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as like your parents, are they very political? Are they? Is it something that you guys talk about?
No, my mom's a pothead. But I love her. She's in her 60s, whatever makes her happy. My dad is not so political. He will just stay up to date with whatever is currently going on. So when it comes time to vote and things like that he knows everything and he can make his decision accordingly. Yeah.
Now, do you feel safe
In this world?
Yeah. As far as a political situation right now, do you feel like it affects you in any way?
Me personally,
yeah.
no. But the whole thing with like the border and things like that, I have close friends or, relatives that, maybe over in Mexico and things like that can't come here and things. So it bothers me in that aspect. The fact that I have to go there to see them, or the fact that, for months my mom was like, no, don't cross because of this, and that, So to an extent, it does bother me. But I also think that we have like a shit president. So, I mean, and that someone could argue with me all day. I have friends that are Trump supporters, and that's okay. Yeah. Because that's their decision. I am not. So you can either be okay with that or you cannot.
And that's the thing, I think that's the thing that we all have to kind of like make sure is that, hey, look, like we can all have a different opinion. Yeah. Just as long as you don't affect like
we can agree to disagree. That's fine.
Just don't insult me. Don't.
But a lot of people don't realize that, and they really get offended when you do not agree with them. Yeah. So, I mean, look at what's happened to our country since he's been president. If you were a Trump supporter, like, look at it now.
How can you still to defend that now.
Yeah,
you're like even people that work for him are just like, people are just quitting, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this new election because, I mean, his base is so strong, and there's a lot of people that are just turned off by politics. So it's like for me, I'm really into politics. I'm always just like, okay, guys, we all have to kind of like rally, like, you know what I mean?
I have a question. Since you're really into politics, a lot of people aren't paying attention to the fact that Kim Kardashian started going to law school and that she's been frequently visiting the president, the White House. Yes. So I feel like not this election, but the one after that, I genuinely feel like she's going to try to run for president. And a lot of people don't pay attention to that. But if you go back years, she's said it, like her family has said, one day you should run for president. That girl is going, you don't just in your 30s decide you're going to go to law school.
If President Trump being president, it opened up the door to a lot of people. Because when he
Yeah.
was president, you start hearing all types of celebrities saying that they should run.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I say about politics now. I was actually talking about this, and I said, you know what? Right now, because of the Democratic debates, can you name one person that's running for the Democratic Party?
No.
Okay. Nobody knows because nobody really cares about that.
Yeah.
Because right now it's turned into people know more about who won the other night in the Masked Singer than they do in the politics.
Yeah.
But that's just how we are. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? I brought up the idea of maybe Oprah or Ellen should run as a Democratic runner because
I would follow.
Ellen, if you're listening to this, yeah, right. But,
No, I'm gonna tag her. You don't know.
Honestly, like I think to me, I would say, you know what? Maybe it is your duty as an American for you being so successful and everybody supporting. Maybe you should, or Oprah. So you're not working anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I know, and a lot of people have been pushing for Oprah.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe they should just to kind of bring the country back to like, okay, you know what? I'm not a politician, but I'm going to get the right people in the right place because I think the president, the seat, it's like more of it's symbolic.
Yes.
It's the person that's going to go there and be the face of America. And right now, the face of America is Ellen, Oprah, people like that, you know? And I think they should to kind of like bring that back. Now, being into politics, you know, at first it was like, well, we don't need another reality star, but that's just what it's going to.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what
Kim K definitely has her following, and you know, if she's going to utilize that to voice her opinion, that's fine. The only thing that would scare me if she ran was the fact that she's got her husband in her ear, and I think that he's a hot mess right now. I don't know why, but whatever is going on in his personal life is showing through his work, and I just think that would be a terrible situation. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think that Michelle Obama should run for president.
That there's another one.
Yeah,
that should. You know what I mean? And people are asking like, come on, like help us out. We need good people. You know? And I think, you know, people like Ellen and Oprah would go in there and do.
I think they do positive things for the community, and they have a positive following, and that people would definitely listen to them if they did step in a seat of power. So yes, I support it.
I mean, if I were to tell you that in 2024 the Kardashians will be in the White House.
I would believe it.
And that's crazy, you know?
I would believe it.
If we went back maybe like 4 years ago and said, oh, yeah, we're going to have reality stars running, you'd be like, what? No.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy.
I
going from politics to drugs, do we use drugs? Do we?
Me?
Yeah.
I have never tried any drugs.
No drugs.
I literally just started smoking hookah maybe like 5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah. Do you support the legalization of marijuana here in Vegas?
I feel like weed is a plant, and I feel like the government just realized that they couldn't control it, and people were going to do it regardless, so they found a way to make money off of it. So government-wise, I don't support it. You just need to let people be happy, and if they want to be a hippie, be a hippie.
Yeah.
But they realized that people are going to smoke regardless, so they taxed it. That's how I feel about it.
And we've never tried a drug? A drink of choice,
A lot of people
alcohol?
can't believe that.
Yeah.
I started drinking young, hanging out in TJ and things like that. So I just kind of stuck to that. And then when you get older in this industry, all of these jobs test you. And I never thought that like one night out or an edible was worth me losing my job. So I just haven't. And now I'm 31. And I feel like, why start now?
What's your drink of choice when you drink?
I am a champagne girl.
Champagne.
Yes.
So if a guy is going to approach you at a bar and buy you a drink, what should he buy you?
A glass of champagne.
A glass of champagne.
If I have to drink a drink, I'm a whiskey girl.
Okay.
Like if I'm in a hole in the wall bar, because those are usually more fun.
What kind of drunk are you? Are you aggressive?
No.
Are you very flirty? Are you emotional?
Very giggly.
Very giggly. So
Yeah,
you're goofy.
and then when I get really tipsy to where I feel like I might be like wobbling and stuff, I just sit and observe because I never want to be that drunk girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I get really, really goofy when I'm drunk.
When was the last time you got totally fucked up?
Oh my gosh, a Sunday.
Sunday. For your birthday.
Yes, because my friends came over and we pre-gamed, and then they took me to Dre's. And Genuine was there. And my all-time favorite song of all time is Pony, and it's never, ever going to change.
Nice.
So we were pre-gaming at the house, and then we went out. And I don't drink a lot in my everyday life. So honestly, by the time we were on the way to the club, I was like already...
You're already gone.
And then there was like bottle and champagne and some more. So, and then the shots were coming. So it was just
Do you remember the night?
Yeah. But I mean, well...
Did you get carried out?
No.
Okay.
I told you I'm never that girl.
Okay, good.
But I did see a lot of the videos the next day, and
Did
I
you
got
take your
some
shoes off?
today. I would never.
Good.
My toes could be bleeding, and I wouldn't. I have OCD. I would never take
Good.
my shoes off.
I see that when
And
I
there's
see that.
these little like vending machine looking things all around now where they sell literally like flip flops for $2.
There's no excuse, ladies.
And then
There's
even
no
clubs like
excuse.
Marquee, on the way out, there's a guy there handing out flip-flops. Like, you need shoes on. They have little flip-flops that fold up like this big and you can fit in your clutch. Like, there's no reason you should walk around with those
I'm
shoes.
very metrosexual, and I want to say if I ever met a girl at the club and we went back home and her feet were black, no. Get out of my bed.
I wouldn't. I can't handle that.
All right, so we covered a lot. Where can they find you? Where can they buy your products? We're talking about these skincare products. Are they for guys too?
They are.
Okay, good.
Yes, they are
All right,
for
well,
men
let me try
and women
some.
and all ethnicities.
Where can they find you? Do we have websites? Plug it all. Where can they
Okay,
find you?
So my Instagram is Taeilor Brea. It's TAEILOR BREA.
We'll put it right there at the bottom.
Okay.
Right there.
And then I also have my skincare line on there. It's called Beauty Kitchen. You can purchase the products online. You can go to the pop-up store off of Eastern and Henderson, or if you're near Boulder, they have an actual store in Boulder. So that's pretty much where everything is. But online, definitely take a look and see if it's a fit for you before you make the drive to the store.
Perfect.
Yes.
And if guys want to slide into your DM, it's okay?
Just do it respectfully.
All right, cool.
If you want a response.
If and then
And don't send me a dick pic because then I'll be done
that's
with
weird.
you. It's
Yeah,
weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Any websites? No websites?
No
Not
websites.
yet?
I do everything off of.
We got to get TaylorOfficial.com going for
Yeah.
you.
It'll
All
actually be tailor-made. I did
Tailor-made.
copyright that, yes.
Okay, good.
Because when you get something tailored to you, it's custom to you. And since my name is spelled different, it is tailor-made.
Nice.
Yes.
And then any shout outs? We shout out to anybody. I know you got some homegirls, some family members, you know?
I do. I have my friend named Katie, my birthday twin.
Okay.
So hey mama, I have my friend on social media. Her name is Miss Perez. Then I have my heart. She is my best friend. Her name on social media is Lanita_87. And those are my hearts.
Those are your homegirls.
Those are,
Those are
yes.
your ride or die biatches. Nice.
That I would literally punch somebody in the face for.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for hanging out and chilling at the crib with me.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. We may have you again. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see
I'll
how
bring
everything's
some. I'll bring
going.
some parties.
Definitely, yeah.
And champagne, and then it'll be a whole
Next
situation.
time I will have some champagne for you.
Yes.
You can bring your homegirls too.
It'll be so much fun.
Put them on the spot.
Yeah.
And just let you guys know, this episode and Chillin' at the Crib is sponsored by Vegas Bright.
Oh, nice.
Vegas Bright, they do teeth whitening and teeth bling.
Stop it. I'm going to
Yes.
go. I want one of those
Yes.
so bad.
And
Vegas
it's
Bright,
50%
DM
off.
me because I want it so bad.
50% off the rest of this year.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like the teeth whitening, I think it's like $200, it's $100 now.
Mm-hmm.
And the teeth bling is like $150, it's $75 now.
What?
For the teeth bling. You got to go
Stop
check it out.
it.
It's pretty cool. And shout out to Lash Queen is also a sponsor. Lash
Stop
Queen
it.
International. That's my homegirl Ariane that does lashes. She's badass. And she just started doing the hyaluronic pen.
Did she?
This is the needleless fillers. That's dope.
Stop it.
So Lash Queen International, big sponsor. Thank you so much. And that's it with Chillin' at the Crib with me, DJFNA. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you so much for having
Brea?
me. Brea.
Taeilor Brea. Thank you guys.
you.
We'll see you. Peace.